Hey guys, Jason here for TheChartGuys. We're going to take another look at some of these tanker stocks because some of them have gone so red that they're starting to look a little bit tempting for people who like to catch oversold bounces. So what I want to do is take a look at those, see how we got to where we are and what a likely scenario might look like for someone who's trying to catch a bounce. So we're going to start with TK. TK in the daily time frame, well, we had a little bit of a dip and a lower candlestick showing that there's some bull presence here, and that's not going to be a surprise if you've been watching the hourly time frame. You know that we've been doing the ebbs and flows of a normal sort of trend. So if you catch a bottom of the day right at the low and you see a little bit of an hourly push, you can expect to see an hourly lower wick with a little bit of bull momentum going into the end of the day. Not a big surprise. Unfortunately, we did lose the 316 level for support, which means our next level for likely support's at 284. Let's jump right to the hourly time frame. So here's what we are looking at for today. There's that big drop, a low open, and bulls sort of control some of the day. It's a big drop, but they managed to go relatively sideways. And we look at the 5-minute time frame, we can see that for the most part, if they had an opportunity, they defended their higher lows right up until the very end when we lost this 321, but we didn't see a lot of follow through. So what that means is we zoom out, we take a look at where we are. Hourly bear flag type setup, lower highs, lower lows, continuing 311 support in the hourly time frame. No reason to expect a change on TK. I believe there's earnings. Someone had commented in yesterday's video. I don't know when those are. Looks like TradingView thinks they are on the 13th, so still a few days away. A lot could happen in that point. Before that point, NAT in the daily time frame, a more aggressive drop to the downside, and this is where we start to start hunting for oversold plays on sub time frames. Our RSI is still very, very happy where it is, right in the middle of the range, and despite two big red days, we're not really worried about oversold conditions yet, not on the daily. On the daily time frame, however, we do see a double bottom. Our low of it is 1492. Our support from April 21st was 1491. So then what we're going to do at this point is, again, always taking a look at how we got to where we are, hourly time frame, lower highs, lower lows. And this is pretty much a must hold, must defend level. If bulls are going to scrape anything together, they need to hold 492. Otherwise, we're just going to look for lows and continuations as we did with 520 and as we did with the low over here on May 5th, which was 535. Bulls need to prove things in order for us to be interested in anything. And even on the 15-minute time frame going to the end of the day, 15-minute downtrend, no bulls in sight. It's completely bear dominated at this point, and we are at major risk of losing this 491 level. In order for that to change, the very first thing we're going to need to do is get over top of our last 15-minute resistance, which is really just a lower high at $5 psychological. That's going to be a big important level for the bulls right now. What is not good for the bulls is that we have been oversold multiple times, and we saw one good bounce this morning, but it's unlikely we're going to see another oversold bounce on the hourly time frame. 4-hour time frame is getting oversold, so this is when we start looking around for signs of strength. Can we see a 15-minute trend change? Can we see an hourly trend change that's going to give us something to work with? A higher low over 492 would have done that, but we can see that we've already broken this grinding 490 now. So no real long-term strength for NAT. FRO, this is a more aggressive drop, and we dropped right below this 746 support level. So our next support on FRO is going to be at $7 psychological. Now this is really picking up a good pace here. We're going to be getting closer to oversold on the daily time frame than we have seen on NAT. And if we look at our RSI, we are at 35.59. So another red day would probably have us in oversold territory. And it's very, very possible that we would be getting close to 7 psychological and oversold on the daily time frame, which would give us some nice conditions for a bounce potentially. Below that, $609 and $6 psychological is going to be support. Again, always asking yourself, how did we get here? Have we consolidated enough on the 4-hour time frame? Well, if we look at the 4-hour, we can see that we are taking little breaks, but we've been oversold for a while. It doesn't seem to matter too much. So we're going to go to the hourly. Has this mattered? Where are we as far as oversold conditions go? And we have been oversold for quite a while as well, with no real follow through. The more time you spend in oversold conditions, the less likely you are going to see a big, massive bullish response. And that's unfortunately just the way it is. We take our time to consolidate. We build up bases of resistance every time we set a lower high. It's a new obstacle that we need to overcome on the way back up. If we dip down to 7, there's possibly a little bit of a daily oversold bounce to look for, in which case we're going to look for a 15-minute and an hourly trend change around 7 psychological. Let's see what the bulls are able to do with that. TNP, another big daily sell-off here. 2 red candlesticks in a row. RSI is at 42.07. Major support right there. I shouldn't call it major support. There's some support at 254 and major support at 237. That's really the last support level we have on the daily until we're in the 170s, which would be a pretty significant drop. On the 4-hour time frame, our RSI is hovering around 30, not quite oversold yet. And on the hourly time frame, we see continuation of these lower lows, lower highs, inability to use new higher highs to any advantage. We can see that 343 is over 335, 306 is over top of 305, and just no follow through. So we are just watching this overall trend develop, looking for some signs of strength around our basis of support. That's really all we can do at this point. See what the bulls are able to do at 254, if anything at all. SFL. Big Marabuzzo close, big momentum heading into the end of the day. I would not be at all surprised to see us breaking 979 on the 5-minute time frame. Below that, we've got support at 969. Let's jump right to it. 5-minute time frame. Where is that momentum taking us? Well, I am pleasantly surprised to see that we have not plunged right through. So 985 is an important level. We saw a little bit of a volume going into the end of the day, hovering around under $10. And let's take a look at the 15-minute time frame. Well, ultimately, I need to see where we open tomorrow. Not interested in single mistakes or votes of confidence. I'm interested in big market agreements. Speak to me through volume, market. I want to see what the overall group of people believes is happening, in which case I'm going to be looking for 15-minute downtrend continuation, 979 support. Let's see if we can't get ourselves a little bit of bear follow through, because today's close absolutely had the huge momentum behind it. And on the hourly time frame, just getting into oversold. There's still a lot of room here. Anyway, that's it for today. Interesting follow-up. We'll keep watching the tanker stocks. I didn't think this was going to be interesting today, but it's just a little bit of a different type of setup. We're not just playing these these hourly downtrends. We're getting into potential oversold bounce plays, which is a little bit of a different game, requires a different strategy, and it requires a different approach. Anyway, if you're interested in learning more about technical analysis, I encourage that, of course. Check out TheChartGuys.com. If you want some books, I'll send you some information on books. That's it. I'll help you out.